Hello, my name is Ashley Quint, student of Organizational Change at Amberton University with Professor Dr. Diane Sanchez. The following is a presentation based on an organizational change at Come and Go. I have been part of the project team from inception. The project is not fully implemented, but I will project the final steps to complete the presentation. The graduate project goal: to describe the process approach Come and Go used to make a revolutionary change to its store operations structure, to compare the steps taken by Come and Go to other organizations that have sustained continued success after an organizational change, including Wawa convenience stores based in Wawa, Pennsylvania, to provide observations and opinions regarding the process decisions throughout the organizational change process. I'd like to mention some limitations to this project. This is the researched and observed process followed by Come and Go through an actual organizational change. The organizational change in infancy, long-term implications and complications will not be known. A brief company overview. Come and Go was founded in 1959 by Tony S. Gentle and William Krause, with the goal of providing a store where people could buy simple groceries and gas. They founded a convenience retail chain now spanning 400 locations and 11 states throughout the Midwest. The privately held chain is on the fourth generation of family ownership and operation today. Come and Go employs roughly 5,000 associates, 4,000 associates across the 400 stores locations, 3 businesses in one: retail, fuel, and food service. Come and Go has continued a focus on communities, donating 10% of profits each year. The company is headquartered in Des Moines, Iowa. Come and Go associates serve on average 500,000 customers each day with the desire to be part of the daily routine of their customers' lives. Work, family, Come and Go. Come and Go's strategic mission is to operate in mid-sized cities in the United States while focusing on centrally located states for ease of distribution. The company operates in the convenience retail industry, with competition stretching from typical gas stations to pharmacy chains and small format grocery stores. The company is currently operating in markets that are experiencing unemployment rates nearing 1%. Human resources was added to the company 50 years after inception, leaving opportunity around the development of the human capital management system. For nearly 20 years, Come and Go operated under the mission statement to be the #1 convenience retailer by the year 2021. The company grew through acquisitions and divestitures for many years, with a slow shift toward building new stores. It became evident when the company had reached over 400 locations consistently. The goal year of 2021 was quickly approaching. A new mission statement was in need. The newly adopted mission statement in 2017 was to make days better by connecting with people. The process behind adopting the new mission statement. So one, the company realized growth had become stagnant and was starting to shift into decline. Simply building new stores wasn't enough to catapult the business in the 21st century. There was also third-party research conducted. The company also used an associate engagement survey and the feedback the associates provided, and also customer service satisfaction data. To describe and outline the change process Come and Go will go through, the presentation will go through the 4 phases of change as described by Burke. Each phase will be further described in subsequent slides. They are pre-launch phase, launch phase, post-launch phase, and sustaining the change. First, the pre-launch phase. Within this phase, there are 4 things that need to be examined. First, leader self-examination. As the planning phase begins, it is critical for the leaders to take time to self-reflect and fully embody the vision of the upcoming change. This happens in 3 ways: self-awareness, motives, and values. Burke ties self-awareness to successful performance. Before launching a transformational change in an organization, a leader must realize his or her tolerance of gray area, how much control the leader is willing to release, how the leader reacts to disagreements, whether the leader is an extrovert or introvert, and the level of comfortability with decision-making being centralized versus delegated. It is also important for the leader to understand why the leader is making the change. What are the motives behind the change? It is important to identify the motives and understand how those motives will impact the ability to make transformational change. Many organizations have a set of values that govern decisions and actions. In the pre-launch phase, the leader should reflect how his or her personal values align with the organization. If the transformational change is geared toward a cultural change, understanding value alignment may make or break the process. In external environment, using the principles of the open system theory, it will be critical for the leaders to do a thorough examination of the external environment to fully understand how change can keep the organization relevant and successful. The leaders will look at things like customer needs, changing technology and resources, and the external competitors or the marketplace. Establishing the need for change. Because leaders are examining the external environment regularly, they will understand the need for change at a higher level than the rest of the organization. If people in the organization cannot understand the necessity for change, they will resist the change initiative. If leaders other than the CEO or president identify the need for change, it will be critical for the CEO or president to communicate the need for change to the organization in a way that compels the people to want to change. A sense of urgency around the change must also be part of that communication plan. Providing clarity of vision and direction. In this last pre-launch phase, the leader must convey the vision or purpose of the change and how the organization will achieve the end result. Burke refers to the change as an opportunity or a burning platform. The organization must understand that the change is to give them leverage or help them survive in the changing environment. First, external pressures for change. The competitive talent acquisition environment was one external pressure for change. Many retailers are pulling from the same labor pool for entry-level positions. Come and Go's current pay and benefit offering is not competitive in the market. Historically low unemployment rates in many markets within where the company is operating. For example, from the United States Department of Labor, Bureau of Labor Statistics, Nebraska is operating at a 2.7% unemployment rate. The Des Moines area reaches as low as 1.5%, and Colorado is operating around a 2.9% unemployment rate. Also, customer feedback was not aligning with the new mission statement. Associates were not able to provide the level of service expected by the senior leadership team. Come & Go hired a company called Heart and Mind Strategies to conduct an extensive qualitative and quantitative research project surveying 2,000 customers. Heart and Mind is a research-led consulting business that focuses on discovering how people feel and think. The company gathered data points using online surveys to roughly 1,200 convenience store users and 600 Come & Go loyalty program users. They also conducted 600 in-person interviews. They questioned customers' reasonings for going to certain businesses, why they liked or disliked certain businesses, and ultimately were able to compare Come & Go to several of its top competitors. Each of Come & Go's top competitors had something they were known for within the 2,000 surveyed customers, except Come & Go. Time and time again, the answer was, Come & Go does not stand out in anything. This was the pivotal moment for the CEO to realize that change needed to happen. From this data, a plan was derived to compose 3 different cross-functional teams with senior leadership overlapping the 3 teams. Heart and Mind would conduct the sessions with the teams to come up with a new mission statement. The sessions were held over several months and focused on creating a new mission statement, but also how to bring that mission statement to life in the stores. The result was a mission of Make Days Better and a how of connecting with people. Internal pressures for change. Hourly associate turnover hit an all-time high of 135% in 2015. After 2 years of concerted efforts in reducing turnover, the conclusion was reached that the current system was designed to obtain a minimum of 85 to 90% turnover. The goal of the organization was to reach a 60% or lower turnover by 2021. New, larger store format was being built, requiring larger teams to operate the stores. Associate engagement survey provided clear feedback on specific desired changes to the human capital management system. Some of those were consistent scheduling, better pay and benefits, and more responsibility on the job. A quote from Wawa's Howard Stokel, "We've got to invest in our people, they have the answers," and Come & Go is listening. The Associate Voice Survey, or the Employee Engagement Survey, shown here, these are the engagement drivers that were measured. So what stood out in the survey 2 years running were 3 themes. This job is in alignment with my career goals. I see professional growth and career development opportunities in this organization. And thirdly, I know I can depend on other members of my team. Within these engagement driver sections, some of the questions were, pay and benefits meet my family's needs. Communication is good throughout the organization. My work motivates me. And my job gives me the flexibility to meet the needs of both my work and personal life. With essentially no movement over 3 consecutive years of surveys, something had to change. The CEO and president worked to reflect on both the external and internal pressures for change. Low unemployment with high turnover at the associate level, associates telling the organization they needed something different to stay with the company. The father-son CEO-president team were experiencing challenges that others have faced in the past. Dick Woods of Wawa once said, "You're making short-term decisions while focusing on long-term sustainability." Based on the reflection of internal and external pressures, the senior leadership team came up with a list of processes and programs that needed to change or to be retired. The human capital management system. This could include job design, job assignments, reporting structures within the stores, benefits pay and total rewards, our scheduling approach, learning and development material review and adjustment. In an article by Everingham, he said, "Companies frequently underutilize or worse, misuse reorganization. While it sounds like and is a big step, it's often the most important tool a company has." In the end, it was decided a complete overhaul of the human capital management system was necessary to get to the root of the problems like high turnover. With this decision, the president decided to serve as the project sponsor so that the project was taken seriously and had the support it needed. A cross-functional team of 10 associates from varying departments was identified, and the project began to move into launch phase. At this point, the company was moving into Lewin's Step 1, unfreezing. Step 1 includes creating a need and motivation to change. Disconfirmation in this case study is created by discontentment of associates and customers. Moving into the launch phase. Communicating the need. The important thing to remember in this phase is that the communication should come from someone that people will find credible. If the CEO-president is the best person, great. But if there is someone closer to the change that would be perceived as more credible, the recommendation would be for that person to communicate the need for change to the organization. The initial launch phase activities can take many forms. The activities need to allow people the opportunity to understand the change and embrace the change initiative. This may come in the form of question and answer sessions or small group discussions. The activities depend on the organization and the type of change. Resistance can occur in 3 levels: individual, group, and the larger system. Resistance to change is natural and should be expected and even planned for during a change initiative. At the individual level, resistance can be avoided by not forcing change on people, but rather giving them a sense of choice when possible. In the group setting, it is important to help groups work through the change together by organizing specific activities to allow them closure on the past and move into the change together. At the larger system level, it will be important to be prepared for the need to stay strong in the change initiative and face the resistance head on, being careful not to allow resistors to place the change on the back burner. The 10-person team is assembled and does a 3-day rapid process improvement or RPI event to develop a vision, purpose, and outcome of the project. A project leader and manager is named. A project description with an elevator speech was set. Come and Go is investing in a new store structure that offers more full-time positions, clear career paths, and improved benefits. This new structure will provide more consistent scheduling and clearly defined roles for each position. These changes will make days better for associates by providing a reliable working environment and a career they can be proud of. A date for a pilot district and full rollout was set. It was determined the team had 1 year to scale the project across 28 districts and over 400 stores. Communication. It was decided to brief the senior leader sponsor and allow him to brief senior leadership meeting each Monday with progress. A report out would come from weekly meetings on a continuous improvement project form to share out to key stakeholders and extended leadership team each week. The 3 operations leaders on the team would begin to share the elevator speech with people in the field, engage their interest, and also hesitations. This would count as an initial activity. All district supervisors would be briefed on the project intent prior to quarterly meetings. Starting in quarter 3 of 2018, this project would be named as the most important company initiative by the President in his update to further provide support and buy-in from stakeholders. A generic email address would be created to field questions. A separate web page on the company intranet site would be created to house all pertinent information for associates and leadership teams. Launch phase decisions. A pilot district was chosen. A new reporting structure was decided and vetted through senior leadership. New pay ranges were determined for all positions and store types. A new position was created to act as an additional career path step called the assistant manager. The existing sales manager role would be eliminated. There would be 1 sales associate title in stores. Food associate title would be eliminated and duties combined in the sales associate job description. A position would be created for overnight associates to allow for an altered job description and specific hiring approach. Set schedules and shift patterns were created that could be adapted for all 400+ locations. There would be set duties for each shift pattern to be responsible for each day, creating ownership in the stores at all associate levels. Job descriptions were updated and created as needed. Work on human management systems began. The company would shift from 40 to 50% full-time associates to 80% full-time and provide improved benefits for the 80%. A float pool of associates was created for paid time off coverage and emergency store coverage. The current store reporting structure is this. The general manager essentially is the leader of every member in the team. This could range from 5 people clear up to 30 people. There was no step of leadership. Basically, everyone was at the same level, but different pay scales. The new or proposed store reporting structure looks like this. The general manager is responsible for the assistant manager, the food manager, and then the full and part-time associates, which could be up to 4 people. The assistant manager then is responsible for the 2 overnight shift leaders, giving them leader responsibility within the store. A pilot district was determined. A 2-month ramp-up phase was decided, with communication starting the month prior to the ramp-up period. All 14 general managers were brought in for a full debriefing and training on any existing gaps. Internal postings were created 60 days out for assistant manager roles and associate roles, with communication coming from the general manager and the district supervisor. Communication packets were sent to stores to explain new benefits for full-time associates. Interviews with a power of 2 were conducted for all assistant manager applicants to help with support for those who didn't receive the positions. After all associates were placed into desired shift patterns, data was compiled to evaluate the number of open positions in the district. During Quarter 4 supervisor meetings and the Quarter 4 State of Come and Go address, the President was to present the vision behind the project and endorse the decisions made. During the Quarter 4 supervisor meeting, 2 supervisors that were part of the project will present the methodology behind the change management to their peers and field a question and answer session. A communication packet will be prepared for district supervisors to take back to their districts with specific initial activities and communication blurbs to share with their teams across 400 stores in 11 states. Obstacles and resistance. The elimination of the sales manager and food associate position will cause some grief in stores. The restructure project is impacting 4,000 associates in incredible ways. Some will lose job titles. Some will lose a schedule they've worked for years. The organization may increase in turnover in the short term during the transition. This project is going to create a more rigid approach to the business than has been taken in the past. For example, moving to set schedules that cannot be manipulated. The organization is infamous for always making allowances in one-off situations, and this won't be allowed with the new store structure project. The process of selection for assistant manager and placing associates in shift patterns using a fair and consistent method. How to avoid putting the organization at legal risk by using a power of 2 approach, meaning it should be 2 people doing interviews and selections. Cost. The project team will need to prove a return on investment from the added benefits in order for senior leadership to approve the final rollout. Operational improvements. A set of metrics was needed to monitor progress of culture, execution, and service quality. Post-launch phase. In the post-launch phase, leaders may begin to feel anxiety about the decision to implement the change. The ambiguity that still remains may cause the leader to second-guess the decisions made. Multiple leverage. The idea with multiple leverage is that transformational change is often too much for one simple action to adequately change the organization. It may require different approaches to things like training, rework on mission statements, team building, and developing new processes. It will be natural for certain members of the organization to go through periods of anger and frustration during a major change initiative. The leader of the change must remember to stay calm and hear the concerns of the people. It is critical to listen without becoming defensive. It may also mean listening without responding immediately at times. It will also be natural for certain members of the organization to start asking whether the leader really intends to make the change. The leader must remain consistent in messaging and communication. The leader needs to make sure his or her actions match the message that is being shared. The resistors will especially be watching to see if there are inconsistencies. Stay the course. Perseverance. Staying course is critical. There will most certainly be ups and downs during the change process. Even the toughest of times, the leader must stay the course and keep pushing forward with the change initiative. The leader may begin to feel like a broken record, but repeating the message, vision, mission of the change initiative over and over again will be critical. Repeat it in small meetings, communications, and large meetings. Make sure that all understand the importance and also that it is not going away. Further implementation. Rollout dates for each district will be provided in January at a Quarter 1 district supervisor meeting, district meetings, and Quarter 1 State of Come and Go address. All districts will be completed by Quarter 4 of 2019. Comprehensive communication packets will be provided that address all concerns brought forth up to that point. The communication will explain why a multifaceted approach was necessary to achieve the desired results. Results from the pilot will be released. Check-ins with each district supervisor will be conducted by a member of the project team. The project team acknowledges this will be the toughest phase to survive. The most resistance and challenges will occur during this phase of large-scale implementation. The team will continue meeting weekly to support the challenges and each other. The president will also be in attendance. The team also acknowledges the plan may adjust between now and then. Change is not as linear as we plan for it to be. Change management workshops will be conducted at all division meetings in 2019 to reiterate how to help general managers support their team through the transformation. A training and development roadshow will visit all 28 districts in 2019 to support the transition periods and teams. And finally, the sustaining phase. Change is not linear from start to finish. There will be different reactions to change. Some people will interpret the change differently and will need to be realigned. Some who were expected to resist will adopt, and vice versa. It's possible that an anticipated outcome will not happen or occur differently than planned. These things will all take reevaluation and attention. Momentum. People will naturally trend to returning equilibrium as soon as possible. Keep the momentum behind the change will be critical for full implementation and success. This will mean the leader will need to constantly review the external environment and also the current state of the organization and then adapt as necessary. Choosing successors. In the sustaining phase, it may be necessary to evaluate the players on the team. Maintaining the same team players over time may cause the change effort to become stagnant. It will be more important to create an adequate succession plan for the organization to sustain the change effort. Launching new initiatives. New initiatives create excitement. Excitement keeps the organization engaged in the process and longevity. New initiatives such as new products or expanding market penetration can provide a rejuvenated sense of engagement in the organization's purpose. The new initiatives need to be in accordance with the original change and should not spur the feeling or need for another transformational change. Sustaining phase recommendations. As the project is not yet to this stage, these are simply recommendations by the researcher. To prevent derailment from unanticipated consequences, the team will continue to meet on a monthly basis after full implementation and weekly through implementation period. For both the new mission and the store structure changes, there will be monthly activities for associates, training, fun activities to bring the mission to life, and compliance check-ins. It is recommended that the owner of the project shift to a division vice president upon full implementation rather than be owned by the continuous improvement department. The recommendation for new associates will be to tweak the current model to make it more effective in stores. It will also be recommended to evaluate productivity compared to pre-rollout in stores to see whether it improved or not. Conclusion. Come and Go is investing in a new store structure that offers more full-time positions, clear career paths, and improved benefits. This new structure will provide more consistent scheduling and clearly defined roles for each position. These changes will make days better for associates by providing a reliable working environment and a career they can be proud of. Thank you for your time.